Perfecto. Steve Saka is known for his absolutely fantastic work at Drew Estate and his really fantastic work at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And it's a tremendous number of cigars that they make over there. It's I don't know how anybody keeps that much information or would want to in their head. But the whole Unicorn series was about the idea of, if I just went hog wild as somebody blending a cigar, what could I create? And at $100 a stick, it better be something. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, and this is the Sobremesa Brulee Blue Unicorn. So this is an Ecuadorian shade wrapper. San Andreas Negra in the binder and Nicaraguan in the filler. It's a perfecto, right? Starts at a point, comes to a point, and is 6 1/4 by 60. So it's 6 1/4 inches long, Fingers Malloy. What'd you say? And the ring gauge is a 60. That's the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter, it always makes them laugh. Does the length and the girth. So in a perfecto, the ring gauge refers to the fattest part of the cigar, since it starts at a point and ends at a point, right? The cap and the foot. You light from the foot, you cut the cap. You got to think of the meatiest part, the girth of the cigar, and that's where the 60 ring gauge is. I got to admit, everything about the cigar is beautiful. Even the coffin that it comes in, right? A wood box coffin. It's lacquered. It's almost enameled. It is a gorgeous, spectacular presentation.
Don't you feel like with that coffin, after you get the cigar out of it, you want to think of ways to use it. You don't want to throw it away.
Right. Yeah. Right. So a small jewelry box, a place for your Pez collection, not dispenser, just the Pez.
That makes sense.
Right. If you have a specialty pen, you could put that in there as well.
You know what I store in mine?
What?
All of my hopes and dreams.
Wow. Do you have any room left over?
Yeah, there's some spare room in there.
What? Show me on the doll where they hurt you already. They do tremendous work. They do tremendous work over there at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. The red meat lovers, the Papa Saka. I adore the Sin Compromiso. Really, really remarkable work. Don't expect anything different from here. The Sobremesa was Saka's take on really doing a flavorful Connecticut. And with the Brulee Blue, there's this very unique flavor that comes across, the sweetness that comes across naturally. And it's unique. You don't find it in other places. So you can find the Sobremesa and you can find the Sobremesa Brulee Blue. This is the Unicorn. When it's in this perfecto shape, starts the point, end of the point. And we did a straight cut right across the cap point. This is what we're smoking. So it's not necessarily the thing you find every day and everywhere. And it's a really interesting takeoff on a Connecticut. I'm just saying, and I'm letting everybody letting them know right now, this is $100. This is $100, Fingers Malloy. Smoke slow.
So for those of you
Savor
out there who are trying to get a real feel for this, just imagine if you're one person buying one cigar. This particular cigar would be $100.
It's hard. It's hard to make that make sense. It's hard to make $100 make sense at all.
Now, when we talk about cigars and what's in our humidor, I have traditionally been more the value guy. You have been the money shmoney guy.
So I'm always saying money shmoney.
When it comes to cigars like this, which for me is clearly, you get into, over, for me, $40 a stick. That's a splurge stick.
For me too.
We get to $100. We reviewed some more than a few sticks that are over $100. In your humidor, what percentage of your humidor would you say is of the splurge variety of cigars?
My humidor?
Yeah.
62%.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Go walk through my humidor right now. Oh, that's not a walk-in. But go look through my humidor right now. There are cigars I've been holding. It's not that I don't believe in keeping anything for the special occasion. I believe in smoking it all. But I have some original Davidoff, the white label Diademas, I'm sorry, Salomones. I have got some 75 some Anniversario number ones in there. I have quite a few of the 20-year Opus X, and I've got some Prometheus that I haven't smoked yet. I've got a couple of Cubans in there that should be already taken. Gifts. It's not like I went about buying anything federal government. You think it's gonna keep me out of jail?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You did a winky.
I did the wink, nudge, nudge. Say
Yes.
more.
Exactly.
So I was actually searching today. I am very low on everyday cigars. I need to replenish, especially for the spring season.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where we're getting close to prime smoking season. I mean, you get to mid-March to mid-May outside where it's not 150 degrees. It's
Right.
a nice, spring day. That's a perfect 2-3 cigar on the porch kind of day. It's 60, 65 degrees.
So in a day where you would do multiple cigars, how many high-end cigars would you do? Would you do like does it depend on what you're doing, or if it's just a sit and smoke day?
It's usually the everyday stuff, and maybe a variety. Maybe I'd start off with a Connecticut and then a Cameroon, something like that. But it has to be when I don't have. Mine's more like 8%, 5% special occasion cigars. It has to be a real special occasion.
It's just you asked, so that's what I've got. I find that I have made the Olmec from Foundation a daily, right? But that's $17 a stick. So where does that fit? $17 is a real dollar amount. This is rare. This $100 is rare, and I got to admit, everything about the Brulee, the Sobremesa Brulee Blue, is an interesting thing. But this is a beautiful Connecticut, and the feel of this wrapper. Connecticut with a little bit of a suede thing going on, nice and smooth, but you can see the wrapper in full. Very, very pretty in that pale brown right there. But that's where it's like it's a Connecticut ends.
When you get a bulbous cigar like this, how are you on hand feel? Is it a little awkward?
No, it's fine.
No,
it's fine. It's like Pete Rose on the bat. I'll choke up on it. I'll choke down on it. Whatever the case is. It's just this is a very, very pleasurable cigar, except it starts with that weird sweetness, and you're like, is that a sweetened cap? Is that not a sweetened cap? What am I dealing with? It can be a bit odd.
And for the sweetness, are you getting a caramel, a vanilla? What? There's definitely something going on there where you're like, it does feel like it's a flavored cap, but it's not.
Maybe butterscotch. Maybe
Interesting.
That's what's right off the bat.
Interesting.
But I'll explain why this is worthwhile. That's coming up. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. Sometimes you email the questions. Sometimes Fingers Malloy has the questions. And today is like, Tony, I have a gas station question for you. And I said, this show is starting to become ridiculous. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find our books, Let's Go Bourbon and Let's Go Barbecue, Let's Go BBQ, recipes, tips, and tales from the pit. Find those at Amazon.com. Get your copies right now for St. Patrick's Day before it's too late.
Because as you know, Tony.
Stop it. All right, say it.
The folks at Amazon.com told me that Let's Go Bourbon, still plenty of copies, but Let's Go Barbecue, because we're getting into the barbecue season, supplies are limited.
Not true. What is your question about your gas station?
So I went to a local gas station last week, and I got a gas station find for us, the Hard Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah,
Baja Blast.
I'm still getting the flavor out of my nostrils.
I mean, spoiler alert, if you didn't hear the review live on the air, the podcast is available on your favorite podcast platform. Tony loved it.
I did.
But at that gas station,
right,
they had a variety of food.
Jimmy's House of Gas and wings.
Why are you giving out free plugs? What is wrong with you?
I'm good like that.
So, you normally when you go to a gas station and they have food there, hot food ready for you to purchase and consume, they'll have the hot dogs.
Right, on the roller doohickey.
Yeah, maybe some pizza.
Yeah, right. They're just sitting there waiting to die.
Chicken sandwich, maybe.
It's possible.
Gas station food item that I had never seen at a gas station before. Tony, would you ever buy a gas station fish sandwich?
Would I? I'm the wrong. Honestly, I got sick as I was answering the question. I'm the wrong guy to ask because I don't really buy any of that stuff.
But you're telling me in a pinch when, say, you do many a road trip and you pull off to the side of the road to get the gas. You never get a gas station. Geez, I'm hungry. I'm going to get a gas station hot dog or something. You get nothing?
Never. Sometimes I'll get a fountain drink, but maybe I'll get something in bar form that is wrapped and I double check that it's wrapped. No, I don't say to myself, oh, good, gas station wieners. Gonna load up on this. No, I do what every normal person does on a road trip. I wait till I find an Arby's.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because, well, no, I'm not going to go there. Apparently, once again, Arby's has blocked me on social media, and I have no idea why. And somebody needs to get on that.
The struggle is real.
Yeah. So I saw that, and I thought to myself, I cannot imagine me, Tony, saying I don't think I could buy a gas station fish sandwich. That just that's like taking some risks.
So I know that around this time, right, you've got Lent. People don't eat meat on Friday. You see a lot of fish. You get the filet of fish from your favorite McDonald's and all the other. It is, right?
I had a double filet of fish on the way here.
Oh my God.
They put so much tartar sauce on it, Tony. All I had to do was bite into the sandwich and tilt my head back, and the fish just slid down my throat.
You got to understand how unattractive that is for everybody who just had to hear that.
Slid down my throat. And then there was plenty of tartar sauce in the container for French fry dipping. Good stuff.
You've given up, haven't you?
Oh, of course. Look at me. Crying out loud.
So I get that it sells. No, I'm not buying a fish sandwich from a gas station. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. Tony Katz, Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Yeah, we spent $100 a stick. From Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, we're doing the Unicorn Series. We're doing the Sobremesa Brulee Blue. It's not an everyday cigar. It's not what I would normally gravitate to at all. That kind of sweetened cap here, but it's not. It is like I've never gotten a good answer to that, whether or not he's going about Steve Saka, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, going about in actually having a sweetened cap. I think that this is him just finding a way to bring that very, very unique flavor to the surface, because when you're dealing with the Connecticut, you can get a bunch of different flavors, but it's a more mild cigar, and you could talk about a generalized creaminess. You could talk about a nuttiness and wood flavors that you get. This is a sweet pop, almost to remind you of maybe some flavors you can get out of a pipe, right? It's that kind of feeling going on. But there is a caramel, butterscotch or a caramel, however you want to describe that. I just think the butterscotch is a little more to the twang of it, right? It's a little bit more bright than just what a caramel is. But the construction and the smoke of this cigar is just absolutely positively excellent. It's a pleasure to smoke. It's a pleasure to try.
You get into the first third and you want to say it's a sweetened cap, right? Because that, for me, that you mentioned it was a butterscotch. I don't know if it's a power of suggestion because I did a little research before we started smoking. A lot of people describe it as caramel. So that's what just popped into my head, and it kind of has that caramel. But for me, most of that sweetness subsided pretty quickly. As we're getting, into close to the second third of the cigar, most of that sweetness is gone for me.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. That cedar for me is there. There's a little bit of like a pepper, but the way that sweetness hits you right off the bat, and it's, for me, it's nice.
Flat out arresting. Like there is no way not to notice it. Boom. It starts with that. You're like, I don't know what's happening here. I will admit that I like Sobremesa. Brulee Blue is absolutely not where I live in Breathe. And I can also tell you that I wanted to try this. I had found this in a pack with a bunch of other cigars and ordered a couple of the packs. This is not something I will grab for. This is not something I'll reach for. The Sobremesa, sure. The Brulee Blue, not as much. And the reason being that it's just not where I live and breathe. So many things with Dunbarton. It's exactly where I want to be. The Saka Khan, the Papa Saka, even the Red Meat Lovers, wonderful stick. And I'm telling you, the Sin Compromiso is spectacular cigar. And so there's a lot of stuff that I want to grab from and I want to reach from, but I wanted to try it. Like this was, I just want to do it. I want to experience it, want to feel it. Life's short. Smoke the weirdo perfecto, boo.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we get to news of the week, Tony, you said something that made me remember a question that was sent our way.
That I don't eat from gas stations. That's correct. I don't eat from gas stations.
No, but it's
unless that gas station is a Wawa. Do you know Wawa came in number 1 of convenience stores? Buc-ee's was number 3.
Really?
Yes.
East Coast bias. Total East Coast.
Honestly, for the rare occasion, I'm down with that. I'm a Wawa guy.
They do make very good sandwiches.
I'm a Wawa, and I think they have better coffee. Right? But that's just it. Buc-ee's as a destination, you're going to for the other things. No, you're not going for the coffee, but the coffee is what I want, and I think Wawa does a better job. I have never figured out why these kinds of places don't actually make that a stronger part of what they do and really try and source something out that's worthwhile. There are so many times that you can end up in a gas station, and let's say you want a cup of coffee, and they've now taken to like getting machines where it grinds the beans allegedly for you right there and then, and everything else, and it's better. But I've never understood why they don't invest. That stuff matters. If it was worthwhile, you would go out of your way to do it because you can get your cup of coffee your way.
For me, as someone who puts a lot of schmutz in their coffee,
there's nothing wrong with schmutz.
I'm always amazed that gas stations don't up their schmutz game.
Like
it's very basic, powdered creamer. I mean, maybe they'll throw some of the other kind of creamer that's not really creamer. It's just a bunch of oils and stuff.
Right. Essential oils. I believe.
Essential oils. Turmeric.
No, it's not essential oil. It's a delicious flavor, though.
Do you put turmeric in your coffee?
I do not put put turmeric in other things. But like, what do you want? Do you want like pumps of this? And
pumps of this, pumps of that. Whatever. You're in the gas station, you're like, I could use a pump.
I think you're mocking me.
No, I'm not.
I think
no, absolutely not. Listen,
I think it's a missed opportunity. It's a ridiculously dumb missed opportunity. Go out there and get these people with coffee and suck them into your world.
I will say this. I am getting a little misty at the thought that, we're almost through the first hour of the show and it has been almost completely dominated by gas station talk.
The show is changing.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Sobremesa Brulee Blue. This is the unicorn, but it's time, Fingers Malloy, for news of the week. You have a question?
Yes, I do have.
I'm sorry. Forget news of the week. We'll get to that later.
So Danny reached out to us over on Facebook Messenger.
Danny.
And he asked.
Dan Reno.
He specifically said, Tony, you guys should do an episode on pipe smoking.
Yeah. I said it. I said at the beginning of the year, this is the year of the pipe. It's going to happen.
Really?
We are going to have a whole thing on pipes. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get with some pros. That's happening. That is absolutely positively coming. I was in Vegas, and I'm I go to where the coffee place is open. I'm there. I'm up way too early for Vegas, right? People are still haven't gone to bed yet, and that place is a place called Starbucks, and I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed, but it's what's there. And I get in line, and I guess some people have been waiting, and then some people didn't pay attention to the people who were waiting and got online. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. If these people are waiting, I'm going to let them go in front of me. I let this woman go in front of me. Lovely woman from the Arizona area, I believe, and she is a pipe smoker.
Oh.
Just started chatting. And she's a pipe smoker because her father was a pipe smoker. And what is it about pipes that she loves? The tradition, the ritual. I believe that's the exact term she used, the ritual. How you like to what the type of tobacco you like, how you engage the bowl of the pipe, the time that you have to put into it to really engage smoking it. That ritual moves people. Cigars doesn't have ritual to it, really. It requires time. It requires a shutout, I think, of other parts of the world. But ritual, I thought, was a great bit of terminology. I'm like, I want to explore that.
And also, memory. So much of memory is tied by aroma. Growing up, my dad had a friend who was a pipe smoker, and I have not been around that man smoking a pipe since I was 7 years old. I still remember what it smelled like.
Right.
A lot of pipe smoking, the pipe tobacco just smells wonderful.
Yes. Oh, absolutely does. But there's an art to it. There's a philosophy to it, and it's growing in popularity. And I don't mind. I want it to grow in popularity. It doesn't take away from my love of cigars. It's just there are things to explore.
Well, I'm actually excited that we're going to do this because I just assumed that we were not going to jump into that world at all.
Oh no, we're jumping into every world.
Oh, that's great.
Well, next week, smoothies.
Nice.
We're jumping into everything.
Can I have a corn cob pipe?
You sure? If you want a corn cob pipe, you can have a corn cob pipe.
Now I'm excited.
Right? The whole buying of a pipe, I have no idea which one I'm supposed to buy. I have no idea.
While I'm smoking a pipe, will you call me Colonel?
No.
Drat.
I am not playing into your sexual fantasies.
Wow, you went there. You went there.
Where else was one to go? This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. The year was 2024, and a young Fingers Malloy set out for Wyoming in search of fine bourbon.
But for some reason, from Indiana, I went east instead.
Knowing he had made a mistake, he quickly turned around, went home, and said, screw this, I'm just going to go to a liquor store. And that is where he found Wyoming Whiskey. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. A little over a year ago, we did the cask strength version of the good people there at Wyoming Whiskey. They make a lot of different things. This right here is the Wyoming Whiskey small batch, 44% alcohol by volume, or 88 proof Fingers Malloy. No applause from Fingers Malloy. He doesn't applaud for anything. That is less than 100 proof. This is 5 years in the making. I've seen it before. This bottle right here, a little squat bottle, almost apothecary kind of look here. Apothecary.
Fancy.
Well, I have read 3 books in my life. This is batch number 103. Now, what can you tell us about batch 103, Fingers?
Batch 103 is a little bit better than 102, but not as good as batch 104.
Aged 5 years out of Kirby, Wyoming. You go to WyomingWhiskey.com. It's a very pretty coloring.
Yes. It's a nice bit of copper.
Right? I think that's actually a nice way to put that. Maybe a little more to the orange on there. But looks good. And as we were pouring it, you could definitely get a little bit of nose from it, but sitting here right now, it doesn't reach me. So I'm going in.
Okay. May I make this suggestion? May I be so bold as to say this?
Ooh.
A little bit more Montana.
No.
Don't.
All
right. I'm sorry.
Don't
I'm sorry.
Don't be that guy.
I'm sorry.
Wow. mash bill that is a 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. So you would think that there would be some sweetness here, right? You got a little bit more on the corn side. You're adding the wheat to it.
I'm getting a dark fruit and a lot of like dark fruit.
Yeah, but I think it's playing sweeter than that. Dark fruit, like a plum or something like that. I think it plays a little sweeter than that in the nose, and a little floral.
That's fair.
That's a very, very pretty. Sadly, no oak, but it's a very nice kind of complex thing going on. There's a little bit of depth.
Yeah, I mean, it's 88 proof, so really not getting any kind of ethanol alcohol on the nose.
Not really.
It's just that.
Really.
Yeah, I would agree with you. There's a little bit of floral, and that for me, that dark fruit is, I don't want to say overwhelming. There's only, when you got your nose in here, it's not a whole heck of a lot. It's just that dark fruit and a little bit of floral. There's not like 3 or 4 things coming out on the nose anyway.
Fingers, that's enough talking.
Sure.
Fingers Malloy from the good people at Wyoming Whiskey. This is the small batch bourbon. You ready for this?
Oh, Tony, I've been ready for this all week.
Now, Fingers Malloy has been ready for this all week, and he is doing what is known as the Kentucky Chew, moving the bourbon around the palate, getting a feel for it, understanding the flavors. Sometimes you'll want to take 2 sips. The first one to set the taste buds, the second sip really to get an idea of flavors and where it is you want to be. What say you, Fingers Horatio Ignatius Malloy?
That dark fruit is still there. A nice bit of oak for me. It is sweet. I thought it was a little sweeter on the nose than on the palate. It's good. It doesn't have a whole lot to it, but it's pleasant. I mean, there's no sting on the tongue. There's not really much of a heat finish or anything like that in the chest. It's not a lot there, but what's there is pleasant.
I'm going in. This is Wyoming Whiskey. This is their small batch bourbon, 88 proof. Here I go.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish, the Memphis Munch, the Chattanooga Chomp, the Louisville Lip, the Kentucky Chew.
Okay. That's pleasant. That is a pleasant. It's not overwhelming. I think it actually plays bigger than the 88 proof that it is. That is a sweet piece. That is a sweet bourbon right there.
Do you think it's sweeter on the nose than on the palate, or do you feel like it's sweeter?
I definitely think it's equally so. The wood is not something that I think that I'm getting. I do think there's a caramel in here. I think the sweetness on the nose is a little more intricate. I think sweetness on the palate is a little more sugary. Right there. Yeah, and I the finish actually moves into a little bit of heat, just a little bit of heat, but it's nothing that's driving me. There's no presentation on the finish that I can recognize at all, like nothing.
Yeah.
By the way, no heat. I took a pretty big sip, so maybe just because of that, of volume, a little bit of heat in the center chest, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't feel like this brings a lot to the table, but what it brings, we keep saying the word, but I think it's accurate. It's just pleasant.
Yeah, I think that's and I'm not afraid of moving this to a cube. I will. I just my fear is it's going to get washed out. That's my fear.
Well, I mean, on the positive side, if we're, because a lot of people walk up to me and call me Mr. Positivity. Maybe it'll take some of that sweetness away, just a tad.
Now, Fingers Malloy, is this in your liquor cabinet You paid, according to you,
Mhm.
$55.
I paid 51.
$51. $50 a bottle. As I look around, people were getting this maybe not too long ago at $40 a bottle.
Yeah. So maybe I overpaid a little.
Maybe you did. Is at $50? Is this in your liquor cabinet?
Absolutely. At $40, it's in my liquor cabinet.
At yeah,
50.
yeah. Just on the neat part, at 50, I'm gonna be a pass. I'm gonna be a pass on this in my liquor cabinet. At 40, I am also a pass.
Okay. Too sweet for you?
Yeah, just that it's not enough of the other flavors that I want. It's not enough of the oaks that I'm really looking for. It's not enough of some of the other kind of presentation pieces that I would like at the price point. But this may work for some people. They may really like that dark fruit. Maybe it's cherry.
Yeah.
They may dig that. But at this for this, not my palate. Now I am going to move it to the cube. We'll find out. Wyoming Whiskey. This is the small batch. Keep it here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy from the Unicorn series of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. This is the Sobremesa Brulee Blue. Now, I haven't gone through everything I need to go through with this here because I didn't talk about your notebook and everything else. This is a perfecto, right? Starts at a point and ends at a point. 6 1/4 by 60, 6 1/4 inches long, 60 ring gauge. This Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper right here. And then it gets into San Andreas in the binder, Nicaraguan in the filler. The Unicorn series is not the everyday, a little harder to find. This was $100. Admittedly, from the band to the packaging, the coffin that it comes in, exceptional, absolutely exceptional packaging. The Sobremesa Brulee Blue is a little bit different because it does start with that sweetness that almost feels artificial. It's caramel or whether it's butterscotch right there. It's got a nice bit of tobacco forward now that we're into the second third of the cigar, just like any cigar, even if it's a perfecto. First third, second third, final third. You get your notebooks out, right? What'd you eat today? What'd you drink today? The weather, it's been cold and kind of warming up and then cold again in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we broadcast from. And then you write down what are the flavors you're getting from each third. And then when you try that cigar again, a month from now, 6 months from now, whatever it is, you do the same thing and you compare your notes. That's where you find your through lines. It's a lovely cigar. It really is. It's not my cigar. And I wanted to try it. I have no problem spending the $100 times 2 for both of us. These were not sent to us by Dunbarton. I paid for these. It's just not where my profile is for so many things from Dunbarton that are in the Papa Saka and the Saka Con. In the Steve Saka is the name there, the man who owns Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, formerly of Drew Estate, of course, being their top guy. There's so many places that he delivers for me. It's just not in the Brulee Blue. It's just not. But I'm glad I tried it. It is a beautifully put together cigar and smoke. And as a unique piece, it's like, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I got to experience that. I won't need to do it twice.
I completely agree with you. And if someone handed me one of these again, I would certainly smoke it. That sweetness has really subsided for me. There's a little bit or much more wood, a little bit of a spice is picking up for me.
Is it really?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Because I was going to say I zero. There is zero pepper playing for me on this cigar.
Isn't that crazy? Because you said that the sweetness lasted a lot longer for you than it did for me. So, things hit people differently on their palate. But listen, I just for me, I couldn't pull the trigger for $100 on this a cigar, and I love what they do over at Dunbarton.
To do it once, glad.
Yep.
Not a regular, but I have some other unicorns that we're going to try later this year. And we are drinking from Wyoming Whiskey. We're drinking their small batch bourbon right here, coming in at 88 proof at $50 a bottle, $51 a bottle. It's just, again, not there for me because it's just not a flavor profile that I work, right? It's not something that I can appreciate, whether it's a plum, you can talk about dark fruits, or a little more of that cherry, the sweetness on the palate. Nothing discernible really for me in the finish, but I have the big rock. I've got the cubes. You've got a little bit of water. We do have to move it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. You know, we both described it as pleasant.
Pleasant.
$50 a bottle for pleasant. I just can't do it. $40, you could maybe talk me into it. But 50, over 50, it's not in my liquor cabinet.
Yeah, it's not for me at either one of those price points, but you got to try it in all the ways. So when you add water, Fingers added a little bit of water. I put it on the cubes, right? Water brings down proof. That's what it does. But you're already dealing with something at only 88 proof. So that's not really your issue. Water can enhance, water can mute flavors, open things up. So here it is. I'm going in, and the Wyoming Whiskey, this is the small batch bourbon right here.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. And, he's taking a nice sip this time around. I can't tell if you're happy. Are you sad?
It's better on the cube.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's better on the cube. A little bit of, I said I was getting some heat because I had taken a big gulp earlier when it was neat. Now it's there. Sides of the tongue. Oh, that is not bad. The sweetness is down, and the balance is better. That's exactly what it is. The balance is better.
Are you re-examining your thoughts about this bottle at
$40? This works.
Yeah.
$40 on the cube. This absolutely does work. I'm still not $50 in on this. Fingers just added a little bit of water to his, and he's going in right there. See what he gets.
Yeah, it brought out a little bit more of the wood for me. It took some of that sweetness away. And actually, there's it enhanced a little bit of the sting on the tongue. Yeah,
I can see that.
But yeah, again, I do like it better with a few drops of cool water in it versus neat. But $50, not for me. $40, I'm warming up to the idea of $40.
I'm a maybe. I'm a maybe at 40 now that it's on the cube. It is better on the cube.
Yeah,
it is. It's time, Fingers Malloy. Why are you looking at me like that? I haven't even said anything.
I wasn't even looking at you.
You were getting ready just to be all sorts of sad and disappointed.
Well, because I'm going to break some bad news to you.
God.
Yeah.
It's time, Fingers Malloy, for news of the week.
Tony, MLive.com is reporting that Microsoft is retiring the once popular Skype communication app that the company transitions more toward the Microsoft Team platform.
Yeah. For all the TV work I do, I use Skype for everything.
Yeah.
It's when I started doing more and more TV stuff with cable and everything else, I bought the equipment to have the really classic connection, perfect online connection, spent thousands. Then COVID came and everyone just used Skype. And so, by the way, that's a true story. I still have it. The system is called Live View, live letter U. Thousands I spent. So I don't know what when I do stuff, what they're going to use, whether they're going to say go to Zoom or go to Teams or how this works. But I think this means I'm now going to have to learn a new system. I'm unpleased.
I hear you. It does make me sad because I think back to, you and I kind of started in radio around the same time.
Right.
I was doing internet radio back in 2009, and that's all we used was Skype. The sound quality was very good. thinking back to 2009.
It was, no, it absolutely was.
Yeah, and it was something that I felt like most people used back then. But as Zoom has kind of taken hold of the market, and I freely admit I've never used Microsoft Team, the
It
Teams
works.
platform.
One of my radio groups uses it, so it works. I'm just so thankful I don't have the kind of gig where I have to be on one of those meetings all the time, because those meetings happen all the time, and that just does not sound like fun at all.
I think it sounds okay if you get to work from home. If you're in the office and then you got to do some sort of team meeting on the computer, it's just like, but if it buys you the opportunity to be able to be at home at work, then it's okay.
Well, I do work from home, and I would appreciate not being bothered. So honestly, if this cannot be handled in a letter sent to me by the United States Postal Service, the finest postal service in the land, I don't need to talk about it. It's not necessary. Just leave me alone.
Especially when you're halfway through the meeting, you think to yourself, this could have just been an email.
Right. This didn't even have to be an email. This could have been 3 emojis. I could have figured it out from there. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Do you want to make more babies? Sure, we all do. But the question is, once you make the baby, the challenge is naming the baby. Now, Fingers is a great name for a boy or a girl.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, it's taken by me. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy along with Tony Katz.
Someone else can't name their baby Fingers?
No, absolutely not.
I thought you were a man of the people. I was very, very wrong.
People are asking, what should I name my baby? Can I go over the...
Who are these people? And was this via email?
Who are these people?
Why do you need me to name your baby?
Shouldn't you have the name picked out before you made the baby?
Sounds like something you should have discussed before having the baby in the first place.
Well, Tony, as you know, we here at Eat, Drink, Smoke love lists.
That's true. That's right. That is true. Lists and Seinfeld.
Yes. So let's go over the top baby names of 2025 so far.
What are you telling me? There is nothing else for these people to write about, that they came up with a list of baby names in the first 2 months of 2025?
So far.
Oh, God.
Number 10 on the list of girls.
Do you know how hard I work on the content that we bring to this show, to my stuff? That's just so weird. All right, go ahead. Let's talk about the ladies.
Luna at number 10.
Oh, that's lovely.
I must confess, that's a name that I have not really come across very often, and I'm surprised it is as popular.
Isn't that a Harry Potter name?
Oh, is that what it is?
I think it is. I could be wrong. Someone could correct me on that, but I think that's a Harry Potter name.
So number 9 on the list, Evelyn.
That's nice. Going old school. I like some of the old school names. That's cool.
That's what I like. Is a lot of these names seem to be older traditional names. There was a time right around 2000 where I felt like people were just making things up, and they're naming their boys, and it sounded more like a corporation name than an actual name of a boy. But Evelyn, number 9, Ava at 8.
Right. Another good one.
So Isabella comes in at 7.
Terrific. And I like names like you go with Izzy, you can go with Isabel, you can change it all around. I love it.
I always amazed. We'll skip to number 5. Me is number 6. But number 5, Sophia, you just mentioned, people who, you can kind of fiddle with the name, shorten it or whatever. I've met a lot of Sophias that don't like to be called Sophie. No.
Sophie's still too old school. My grandmother was Sophie.
Oh, really?
Rest her soul. Yes, she was. And she was not a Sophia. She was Sophie.
Now, we both talked
with a
about
PH.
We both talked about we have children.
Yes.
Not together, but we have children. Did you have a difficult time coming up with a name?
Yes. Now I won't say names. I don't say the names of my kids. The first one, we came up with the name the night before they were born. And going through it. The second one, me being Jewish, my wife being Italian and converted, She wanted an Italian name.
Mm.
And I said, okay. I didn't have a real strong opinion. She said, here's the name. Boy, this, girl, that. And I said, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I didn't grow up with that. I'm not used to that. It hits odd on the ear. Anyway, that is the name of my youngest. And I've told this story. It took me 3 years to get used to it. It took 3 years for it to become a normal thing that when I heard it, I wasn't like, wait, where's that from? What is that? It just to roll. Love the kid, but it took 3 years.
Mm.
And I find that I don't use nicknames with my kids. I use the full name. It's how I address them.
Now, when they're in trouble, do they get the middle name too? Or
no. When they're in trouble, they get a shoe. But it's no. I've never done that. You know, it's not like Fingers Horatio Ignatius Malloy.
And he always gets my middle name wrong. That's what's really disturbing about the whole thing.
Middle name, Tom.
So true. Which is on the list of, no, it's not. But you know, I have 2 children. The first one, we were driving down the road, not me and the child, me and her mother. And we came across a road sign for a restaurant. And it was a traditional girl's name. And we're both like, that's it. It's beautiful. It's old fashioned. Not many people use it. I won't mention the name either. But then we named her that. And then it felt like within 3 years, half of the girls were named this name. And I was like, oh man, we thought we had something here that was unique. And then everybody jumped on the train. The second child that I have that I know of,
there it is.
She was born 6 weeks premature.
Oh,
and we hadn't had a name picked out yet. And it got to the point where the baby, she was in the NICU. A week in, we still didn't have a name. And the nurses were like, okay.
Just baby fingers?
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
And you didn't go with Pinky?
Where were you when I needed you?
No one calls. No one calls anymore.
But, you know, it was baby Malloy. And then, okay, it's been a week, you know, but we were so shocked at how the birth took place, you know, with it being so premature. And then the baby was in the NICU. We just struggled to come up with a name. We didn't have the list in front of us of the most popular names.
So what are the top 3?
The top 3 for girls: Charlotte at number 3. WWE fans. That's what I'm guessing.
Oh, got it.
Emma, number 2. Classic.
That's everywhere. That's ubiquitous.
And I feel like this has been very popular for a while. Olivia at number 1. Olivia.
Okay. I can be okay with Olivia. What about for boys?
For boys, number 10 on the list is William.
Classic.
Do you go by Bill? You don't meet many Bills under the age of 30. I think it's Will more than Bill.
Yeah, it's Will more than Bill.
Yeah. Number 9, Lucas.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. A lot of older, more traditional names. Number 8, Henry.
Henry's a good name. Henry's a good classic name.
Yeah, and this must be a generational thing. I don't run into a lot of Henrys, but maybe, you know, in the next 5-10 years.
A couple of my kids' friends, Henry's
Henry?
is the name. Yeah. That's number 6.
Number 6 is Mateo.
Okay.
Number 5 on the list is Elijah.
Also, I'd rather be Mateo.
Yeah. 4, James.
Classic.
3, Oliver. So if you have a boy and a girl, you name one Oliver and one Olivia.
Yep, that's a sign I don't want you as my neighbor. That's the telltale.
Oh, number 2.
My neighbor, by the way, is selling their house, and I am all sorts of concerned.
Don't be, because I just put a bid on a house, Tony.
Honestly, if you were my neighbor, I'd be the happiest dude. That'd be terrific.
Oh, you say that now, but on Saturday mornings when I'm out mowing the lawn in a wife beater tank top and my USA shorts, you may think differently.
Correct. Number 2.
Noah is number 2.
Nope. No. I know some Noahs, lovely people. No.
And this must be a generational thing for me. Number 1 on the list is Liam, and the only thing I think of is Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
So
is it Neeson?
Neeson. Let's call the whole thing off.
Yeah. None of those names work. Rex needs to be on a list.
Butch.
Right?
Butch, that's a power name, right?
My
there.
youngest was almost named Bruno.
That's pretty cool.
And admittedly, it would have been the greatest thing in the world.
You didn't tell him that, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Is he upset?
Oh, yeah. No. Very happy with the name. Very happy with the name that he has. But, oh, yeah. That got consideration.
That's great.
Should have gone with it. Wyoming Whiskey, drinking the small batch bourbon, coming in at $51 a bottle. That's what Fingers paid for it. 88 proof. That is not a price that's going to work for what it is. Much better on the cube, though. And from Dunbarton Tobacco Trust, the Sobremesa Brulee Blue, the unicorn. Those unicorns are $100 a stick. Beautiful packaging, excellent construction, nice cigar. But there are just so many other things in the Dunbarton world that I want to try. I'm glad I got a chance to do this, but it's at $100. That's just try it to try it. That's what you should do. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. This is Eat Drink Smoke.
Follow Eat Drink Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat Drink Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat Drink Smoke, and Instagram at Eat Drink Smoke Podcast. Hey, you made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.